from the middle is proud to be a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 170-something of From the Middle. My name is Kendall, joined by the brothers Kory and Dillon. And we are three middle-class guys living in the middle chapters of our lives with a point of view that's somewhere in the middle. And you know what? We like to keep our conversations nice, easy-going, easy listening. We keep the sharp and pokey opinions to ourselves for the most part. We hope that our approach to conversation is something that is welcoming to you, because we are glad that you're here. We talk about the wonderfully weird Mark Rebillet, and Kory, who is joining us from England this week, talks to us about McDonald's over there, as well as his approach to jet lag. And then at the back half of this episode, we play a new little game that I think we all liked. We hope that you like it as well. In any case, enjoy the episode. Let's roll the music.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral, and you're so developed and evolved.
As Pete and Sebastian would say, we just got to get into it. Dillon and I experienced something. Well, Dillon, I'm going to let you lead on this one because I'm a little biased in my opinion and views of what happened on Sunday. So would you fill the listener in?
So would you say you're going to loop me in?
Yeah.
We experienced a musical awakening of sorts. I've been trying to find a way to describe to myself. That's how I've been phrasing it. How would I describe this to myself if I hadn't been there? We went to, for anyone who might know, we went to go see YouTube star. That's where he became popular, Mark Rebillet, who I could only describe to the lay version of myself as a music creator and mixer, and also someone who has sort of over-the-top comedic interactions with fans while creating loop music with his keyboard and sound effects. That's the best way to describe it. He's not a comedian. He's not simply a musician. So you can't say he's like Weird Al or Stephen Lynch, who are using lyrics as jokes, because he's not making jokes, but he is being funny. And as I continued to think about that description, I tried to further boil it down to maybe it would be like if the DJ David Guetta joined the WWE as himself. Maybe that would be a way to describe Mark Rebillet to anyone who doesn't know. I have never and will never be able to see anything like it again, ever in my life. Unless I go to another specifically another Mark Rebillet concert. Other than that, I have no other words.
Until you came up with the WWE reference, I was thinking to myself, there are people who do the things that you just described who are perfectly sane individuals.
Yeah. If you take away the music, he's not a comedian. And if you take away this sort of persona fan interaction, he's not just a musician, and he's not just a comedian, and he's not a comedian, but it is funny what you're watching. And so
he's a bit of a provocateur too. So for the listener, Dillon has been doing this since we left the venue on Sunday.
Yeah.
And the entire drive back to my house, he was trying to rationalize what he had just witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already relatively educated on Mark Rebillet going into the show. Like he's seen his clips and streams and stuff, and he was still trying to figure out what he had just observed.
Monsieur Rebillet is a true Renaissance man. I'll put it that way. I was entertained. It was funny and crazy and just one of the wildest things I've ever seen. He's at bare minimum an incredibly talented piano player who is very, very good at creating and using effects to make looped music. A lot of people would think of that think of like a bass heavy kind of club music or something like that. And he's mixing in sound effects that he's creating and his own vocals and things to make kind of like fun dance, bass heavy club music, while just interacting with the fans in bizarre ways. So that's what I've got. And it still feels off the mark, by the way.
Well, some more fun context around the show. So the doors were set to open at 6. This was at the Kemba Live venue in downtown Columbus. And the Kemba Live website say doors open 1 hour before music starts. Well, Dillon and I had no idea what to expect. We had general admission tickets, so it's standing room only. So we're like, well, how early is too early? How popular is this guy in Columbus, Ohio? This is the second show of his North American tour. He just did a European tour, but we don't know, should we get there 5 minutes before doors open at 6?
Oh, yeah.
An hour before doors open at 6? We had no idea. So we opted for the early side and showed up at 5. There were 3 girls in line and then Dillon and I.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then when the doors finally opened at 6:25, would you say, or so people, Dillon, sort of snuck in through a side door somewhere, much to our annoyance, and took the whole front rail. And we would come to find out that having the benefit of something to lean on for what ended up being standing for 2 hours was a luxury. And those people that they appeared to have hidden in a bathroom or something, or like one of their friends who's a security guard let them in through a side door and they just rushed the floor and took the good spots. But we were in the second row and we thought he would start at 7. Here it's 8:15. We've now been standing since 5. And Dillon goes, wow, we're really spoiled sitting in our office chairs all day. It's we haven't stood on our feet this long.
Yeah. Yeah. In hindsight, orthotics and Tylenol would have gone a long way had I been more prepared. But the funny thing is too, the very front row, we basically were almost the front row. We were like staring through a gap that was, almost. Anyways, so the front row is kind of on this metal platform and there's a slight ramp down to the normal flooring. At first, I was on the normal flooring, giving myself space. And then over time, I sort of worked my way up to the platform. So now my feet are standing upright on the platform, which feels unnatural. And I would realize many hours of standing later was a bad place to stand. But we were so close to like this ramp, I didn't want to kind of fall back positions because we were so close to the front. So it felt important to just not literally, but lock your knees and just hang in there.
Yeah, tough it out. You guys are so brave. Yeah.
Yeah, we were. That's true. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I need to hear that today.
I say that because I've, as sad as it is, I feel every piece of what you're saying. And that's something that comes with age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 2 hours later, a rap artist called Eshu Toon, also known as Hannibal Burris, the comedian and actor, kicked off the show. You've seen him in things without realizing it, probably. He's the coach in Spider-Man with Tom Holland. And
super talented comedian.
Yeah. And he's like, his rap songs, and you can look him up on Apple Music right now. His rap songs are sort of, the rapping quality is good, but the lyrics are a bit silly. He's kind of making fun of rapping. He's got one whole song about porcelain veneers. And then the song he opened with was just him saying Morpheus over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
That was the
All
whole.
right.
So these are like provocateur, Weird Al, weird, silly, just having fun guys, and they were actually a good match back to back. I found.
Good.
I thought so, although I didn't recognize Hannibal at first. And so someone came out. I thought, oh, Hannibal must be like couldn't come. So they just found some of their Columbus rapper. And then the whole first song is the word Morpheus. And I'm like, maybe it's the lock knees and I'm about to pass out, or is like this guy singing, like rapping the same word over and over. And I really couldn't make it out because I was like struggling to hear. But yeah, it turns out that's what just must be big fan of, the movies. So it was great though. He did a really nice job. And he even joked a couple times like we are now about being too old for this. And like, man, I need to go like do something normal at a park with my daughter. Because he's touring with Mark Rebillet.
So the show was great. I think Mark had that whole place jumping. It was really funny and entertaining. And like Dillon said, I will never see anything as wonderfully weird and wild as what we observed probably ever again. So again, thanks to Stefan, my former colleague and friend who hooked us up and gave us that experience. That was a lot of fun, but we had to open with that because that was pretty noteworthy.
So good.
All right. Now we are recording remotely, and for one of us, extraordinarily remotely. One might even say bloody remotely. I know that's a horribly misused and out of context way to use that word, but I did it anyway because I'm an ignorant American. Kory, where are you from? When did you get there? What time is it there now?
It's currently 1:41. I am in London, England. I have been traveling, or had just been traveling for, I don't know, somewhere between 12 and 16 hours door to door. I'm ready to go to bed after we record this, so this might be a short one. But yes, I arrived safely after one connection from Columbus to Chicago, and then Chicago 7-hour flight to London. And Dillon texted earlier. He said, how have things gone today? And I said, dude, things have gone like surprisingly well. If anyone who travels knows that any little hiccup can be a big problem.
But it makes for a good podcast. And now here we are with nothing to talk about.
But yeah, you guys have heard my travel woes. I feel like I whinged quite a bit there with back-to-back. That was a British word for you, whinged. It means whining.
Sure it's not winged?
Yeah, it means whining. I'm fancy. But yeah, things went surprisingly well. You know how when you have a connection, it's possible that your next gate is clear on the other side of the airport, and it means having to take multiple shuttles or trains or elevated trains, whatever. We arrive in Chicago O'Hare, and the flight for London is like just the next terminal over. So I literally just went down the hallway and around the corner. That was an unexpected blessing. I still had an hour and a half, so I had plenty of time. Then I get on the plane to London, and I end up in the very back row of what was like 3 or 4 big sections. Like there's multiple bulkheads. People in the front have like beds basically. And I was clear at the very back, but I had the whole row to myself. So at one point, I like lifted the armrests in the middle and laid all the way across all 3 seats and didn't even.
I was going to ask if you like obnoxiously spread your legs because you could.
Oh yeah, just
all the way, just because, like,
you know how that is. People are still boarding, and you're like, please, God, please let me get this whole row. But then there's a moment where like, okay, now everybody has boarded, but they're letting couples sit with their significant other, or children sit with their families, or people who are in the middle of 3 people. They're like, we'll give you one of these seats. I had to like sort of give the body language that like I put my stuff in one seat and then sat in the middle. So it was like, either way, you're going to have to sit by me.
Selfish, spoiled American.
Yeah. You should get a sign. You should Should have made a sign that just said, "I'm super chatty."
And I had a bunch of bean burritos before I hopped on the plane.
Yeah, right on. So I'm curious about this because it's like you said, it's like 1 something in the morning right now,
Yeah.
and it's still last Tuesday here, and but when you travel that distance, are you like trying to get to bed now? Usually, how do you deal with the adjustment of the time? Like, how do you try to get onto their time, and do you have a method?
Yeah, the method is if you have a red eye from the States and you're going east,
Yeah.
you end up landing at morning time in London if you're going to London, right?
Yeah.
The strategy that day is stay awake that whole day. Don't take a nap. If you take a nap that first day, people have said you're screwed because then you're not doing you want to be as tired as possible that first night you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that you basically quickly get on the 5-hour difference. Right. You quickly get on the day. I don't know what to do because I left the States in the morning and got here at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So now I'm wide awake because it's 8:45 y'all's time.
Right.
But it's 2 a.m. here. So I'm like, basically just split the difference and kind of go to bed between my bedtime at home and
I think that this could work for you. You can let us know, but like sleep for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Just like on a normal night when you have to like get up for work or whatever, and you just stay late because you're watching a football game or whatever. That's a 4 or 5 hour nights of sleep.
Yeah,
and then that all the time.
And then the former philosophy still applies. You're going on less sleep to tackle that first day, but stay awake as long as possible, and then don't go to bed until 9, 10, 11 or whatever p.m. that second day. So that's what I'm thinking. This actually worked in our favor.
Maybe I think so.
And one fun thing. So the black cab dropped me off just outside the hotel. St. Paul's Cathedral. I'm literally, if I go out my hotel, St. Paul's Cathedral is right there, as well as a 24-hour McDonald's that has
Monopoly.
You're not on YouTube. Kory's got a McDonald's cup with Monopoly. Gosh, Europe is so classy.
You guys, first of all, this is a fancy McDonald's. They have, I think the only way you can order is the touch screens. The McFlurries here mix in the candies that they have here. So like they have some different candies, like Smarties is a different thing here than it is at home. And they have this other thing called Mars, not Mars bars. It's like Mars something else. It's like a chocolate caramel. They'll do McFlurries with that.
That is a Mars bar in there over there.
Okay. Then they have these, I always think things are, whatever. Then they have these chicken wraps that are really good. I think we have those too. I'm not sure.
It's just like Takis all over again. We're just
Takis all over again. That's what I was going to say.
You've got Diet Coke and Coke Zero.
So I order, right? I go up to the counter to retrieve my order because it's takeout only, because I think the dining room is closing at midnight. And there's this couple off in one corner of in a booth by themselves. They're wrapping up completely head to toe Green Bay Packers gear. Okay. And I have to say something because Sherry and I have just gone to Lambeau, and I said, so how many Packers fans are in London? And with American accents, they say, well, at least 100 because we're on a tour and we were just in Paris today. So we're really tired and whatever. But yeah, I was like, well, I'm not going to keep you. I just had to say something that was that was pretty noteworthy. And my wife and I just got to go to Lambeau last season, blah, blah, blah. So we talked for a little bit. But then I get my food and I see that 3 of the items have these double peel things on them. But what's cool is, and maybe they did this the last time they did it in the States, there's an interactive app that you can get and you enter the codes, the 12-digit codes of the tickets that you peel, and it three-dimensionally places them on a virtual Monopoly board.
Oh, that's good.
But if you redeem the tickets through the app, you get an extra digital peel. So they'll give you like a third and fourth digital something, and that can either be an instant prize, a chance to enter another contest for one of the items, or another property on the Monopoly board. So it's just kind of like a fun way to take it from just the stickers to like it logs them all there in the virtual thing. It was pretty cool.
Very fun.
Super fancy.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
So here's some special nerdy trivia. Again, this is information coming from the candy shop by me that has the British candy in it. Because I was looking for a Mars bar one time and I saw that they had them there, and because I had never had one, and I was informed of a handful of things. One thing I was basically already aware of, that Mars bar no longer exists in America. It's not made here.
Okay.
Anymore. The closest thing you can get to it here is actually an almond Snickers.
Okay.
But there are still Mars bars in England. However, Mars bars in England have never been what Mars bars were here.
Gotcha.
Mars bars in England are a what's the Milky Way bar. A Milky Way bar in America is the exact same thing as a Mars bar in England.
Okay.
And yeah. And I think they have, and then there's something else too. Like I think they might also have a Milky Way bar, but it's the same thing as the Three Musketeers or something. It's weird. They like shifted ingredients and names.
So in honor of your trip, you're going to taste for the first time Milky Ways.
So don't go bringing home Mars bars.
Okay, duly noted. All right, just real quick, I'm going to show you. You probably won't be able to see it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So like you can see the properties that you got, and then if you get one of the enter to win things, it shows you those contests as well. So you're selecting the likelihood that you'll win, because like you can use that voucher for like a free medium-sized value meal, or you can use it for a Mini Cooper. So it's like it's up to you how you use that token.
Interesting.
And then you just add the codes, and it's kind of cool to see them on the little digital board there. I already got 2 railroads and 2 reds. So
in my mind, you're going to get home and show up at the front door, and Cheryl will be like, "Oh, did you eat anything good while you were there?" Not that she would ask that question, but in this story, she did. And like a McDonald's UK French fry box falls out of your backpack on the ground, just an empty box, and you're like, "I had to play Monopoly."
How funny would it be if I do win something noteworthy, but I'm ineligible because
not a legal resident of the United Kingdom, Britain, Canada.
Yeah.
Well, you can hand it over to one of the burrito boys.
There you go.
And then have them ship it here.
Boom.
There you go.
How much does it cost to mail a Mini Cooper?
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of the broader United Kingdom, and then I'm tapped out for stories. On the plane, I binged the 3rd and final season of Dairy Girls. We've talked about it on the podcast before. It's like a teenage coming of age comedy sitcom available on Netflix. As I said, this was the last season. I've loved the first 2 seasons. Didn't even know the 3rd season had dropped. It was a wonderful ending to the show. On the surface, because it's an angsty teenage sort of show, it's a little crass and a little it can be a little gruff in places, but at the heart of it is this really endearing and wholesome show that takes place during the turmoil between Ireland and Northern Ireland in the 80s and 90s. And man, it was a perfect. I'm really glad I had that time on the plane, because it was a perfect thing to watch on the plane as I'm on my way sort of over here and getting acclimated to the accents again. But yeah, I think they did a wonderful job. I did confirm that they're not doing a 4th season. True to typical British television form, they do like 3 seasons and then maybe a Christmas special if you're lucky. Okay. So yeah, it was fun.
And to be clear, even we as Americans know that Northern Ireland is not in London. So we are related, but not the same. So
we're not entirely sure how they're related.
Sure. Yeah, we don't. We know.
But we do know. We do know there's something going on between those two.
Yeah. Exactly. And just like France and Germany, there's something.
And there's something we don't know what to make of Wales.
Well, we do now.
We do now because of Welcome to Wrexham.
We've been learning a lot.
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah. So, okay. So Kendall doesn't know, but
I'll have to brush up on my British.
Rob McElhaney is even learning Welsh and is like living in Southern California and is now part of like the Welsh.
They've got their own language, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's out.
Good. They've come a long way.
Yeah. So we do know that those are different things. Kendall doesn't, but we know that those.
Nothing.
We know that those are different things. The question is, do they have Mars bars in Wales? That's
exactly. The extent of my knowledge of Great Britain is mashed potatoes, whiskey, and chocolate. So that's all I know.
Which could also apply to anywhere in the UK. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, in honor of your trip to London, I said I was wearing my South London merman hat for you. So I've got that on. If you're not on YouTube, you missed it. It's a very unique hat, but
very, very unique. One might even say extremely unique.
Very rare, but very cool looking. So
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I have an idea, a game that, unbeknownst to you two, I've been kind of collecting some ideas for this game. A game that I'm going to call Still Into It or Over It. And the premise of this game, you have essentially 3 answers that you could give. I'm going to list things that have been popular or possibly still are. Some of it is just stuff that I don't know if it's popular or not. And so I'm kind of asking you guys.
Ooh,
and you're going to tell me if it's something that you're still into, if it's something that you're over, or if it's something you want to go back to. And if it's something that you were never into, then that would just be, I think, over it. Like you're over it. All right.
And you will hear how that game goes after we hear some words from some of our friends in Odd Pods Media.
Hey, I'm Pantsless Aaron.
This is Stevie.
And I'm Augie.
And we are BFYTW, a podcast all about playing games and having fun. Our games are usually based on British panel shows and game shows, but we'll play anything that captures our attention and imagination. Why? It's right there in the title.
You'll never guess what the F stands for.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us for this round of Over It, Still Into It, or Never Was with Kendall Ayala.
Well, it's Still Into It, Over It, or I Want It Back.
Okay.
As in, it's no longer a thing, but you want it to be a thing again.
Okay.
That's the third option. All right?
Okay.
The first thing, this is a relatively recent one that I feel like I've had a shining moment, and now I've heard nothing, even though I personally am still into it, and that is Wordle.
Wordle?
I think that was Dylan's answer.
So Dylan has no idea what I'm talking about.
Wordle,
it's a game.
Got it.
New York Times game.
I think it's a Pokemon, online. Actually. Nope, I don't. What's the one that I never was it? What's that one?
Oh, I think that's it. I never was it.
Never was
it. That'll be a fourth option.
Okay.
Over it, but it must still have enough traction that I just saw somebody tweet, nobody cares about your Wordle results.
Okay. Yeah.
So people are still doing it and still sharing their results, but
because they were all over the place left and right. And now they're not. But I personally am into it. And then like when I hit a milestone, my wife hears about it. But like I'm all proud of like my percentage because I'm particularly good at that game. And I do well with word games. And so anyway, that's that one. Here's the second one. And this is just because I haven't heard you guys talk so much about it. A new season is about to come out. And maybe that's why, because there hasn't been anything going on. And that is Lego Masters.
Oh, watching it right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The challenges keep getting the challenges keep getting much harder season over season. But one thing that I wish they would do, that the challenges are almost becoming too obscure. And I think they need to keep rotating in just large scale, like Lego dioramas. Like the most recent episode there was an actual like writing bowl that you could get on that you would see at like a bar or something. And they had to build something that would sit on the bowl that would like, they would turn up the dial and it would not fall off. They had some kind of base on the seat to like help lock it in. But like Lego fans also just want to like also see like a really cool diorama of something. So like in season 1, as an example, they did a monster attack type theme. So there was just cool, huge cities with like, they built a monster and tons of minifigs all doing different things. In season 1, they also you had to do some kind of Star Wars battle scene. And so like somebody did Crate, like the planet with the ice on top and the red underneath. And so there's some really cool large scale dioramas that I feel like they're trying to do too many really specific challenges, but it's still very entertaining. And absolutely still watching. What's the positive one? Not over it. What's that one?
Still into it.
I'm still into it for sure.
Yeah, still into it. But Dillon and I said this the other day. There's so much on through all these streamers that like when my family decides to sit down and watch it, we're right back into it again. But to be so into it that we're waiting with bated breath for episode 1 of season 3, I forgot that it was even back on again. We'll totally go back. We're still into it, but it's like there's so much on.
Okay. So
yeah,
both of you are still into Lego Masters.
Yeah, it's not a water cooler conversation show. That's a very specific audience that you have to know is going to be into something like that. So It's not a thing I would just bring up at work on our like Slack channel, like anyone watching Lego Masters, because you don't really know how to discuss it. It's just cool to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good point.
Those bricks were.
Did you see how
they the
backed all of them?
Bowl.
Did you see that connection method? Oh.
His Technic style, incredible.
I think that was an illegal connection.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called.
My only note for the show that we know the only people could answer it would be Lego. I'm actually surprised that there's so much destruction of built sets that feels very anti-Lego to like blow up a set or hit one with a bat, or like some of the stuff that they do, like throw it on the floor to intentionally break it. That feels so un-Lego, but I guess that they're just like laughing all the way to the bank because Fox is just buying all these Lego to put on the set, so they just don't care.
But to your point, they keep doing these functional tests. Like, could yours survive a shaking platform? Could yours withstand high winds? And it makes for incredible super slow motion shots.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Here's another one. This is just a genuine question. Are you guys still making your own music playlists, or do you just trust that like Siri or whoever knows what she's doing?
Still into it. Still make my own.
Still making your own?
And very little now. Me doing that ebbs and flows with free trials of Apple Music. I feel like every 3 months I somehow get another free trial of Apple Music because I've bought an iPad cover and it comes with that, or I upgraded my phone, or we got an Apple TV. And so I'll do it on there because I have it. But like I can also listen to, we talked about how I'm an old man and got a Sirius XM subscription for a good deal. I can stream that on all my Wi-Fi speakers inside. So like sometimes I just trust like Pandora or Sirius XM to do their thing. So it's kind of a half, not over it, but like half still into it is probably the rate.
I just want to listen to only the things I've selected. And I know that a lot of those applications try to infuse a healthy dose of stuff that sounds like who you're into. But like, there's probably a pretty good reason that artist isn't already on my list.
Mhm.
And so as good as they do, and as good as those algorithms are, and I'm not talking about any one in particular, I still want to determine what I want to listen to. And I do, and really it's just two things. There's pretty much a Christmas one and then an everything else master playlist. And I just
Okay.
add new stuff to that all the time.
Gotcha. Do you
But
ever pare it down?
I don't do that good enough. In fact, Dylan was in my car the other day going to the concert, and I'm like, there's too much old stuff in here that I just haven't taken off. But it's to the point where I despise the songs now. I just haven't shuffled through.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not answering, by the way. Do you have any of these that you want to share your?
Oh, playlists. I'm one of those weirdos that was like really hanging on to CDs for a really long time. And so I only within the past few years really have gotten into digital music, um and I have always just trusted a shuffle stream it situation for the most part. Now when it comes to playlist or that, truth be told, I'm still an album listener. I still go and find an album and listen to it. It's only now like I'm digitally buying it or I'm streaming it. And so 9 times out of 10 when I'm listening to music, I'm listening to an album start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apple Music changed that for us. Like when I know that Chris Stapleton or Teddy Swims or whoever has a new album, I'm going to listen to that top to bottom, Ben Rector.
Yeah.
And then I'll cherry pick the ones that I go, ooh, I want that in my rotation.
Yeah.
So that song will come out, or 2 or 3 of those songs will come out, go into my my music playlist. But then I do still do that when I know somebody's dropped a new album. I'm with you.
Yeah. But now, like in the car, what has become really easy to do in the car, especially with CarPlay and having a vehicle that has wireless CarPlay now, so I don't even have to hook anything up, is I do just let Siri go nuts with it. Like I'll ask for a particular song and then just let her go from there.
Yeah. Good one.
You know, one thing for anybody who's not done it, and other streaming services probably do it too, but I've used it. I've had Pandora the longest outside of just straight up iTunes.
Yeah.
I always found starting a Pandora station off an artist, and then if you go into like the mobile app or the website, you can feed it other similar artists specifically to build the station off of. So like most people will do is just create it's Christmas time and they'll do like Nat King Cole radio. And then like Mariah Carey will show up, and then like Tony Robbins, somebody, Marty Robbins or somebody will show up, versus if you feed it Nat King Cole, then feed it Frank Sinatra, then feed it. And I don't mean rate it. I mean, you can go in and add similar artists.
You're not giving it enough data points to be able to make recommendations.
So I think that's another thing. Like I did that with Maverick City and Elevation Worship. So I made a Pandora station from those two, which from those two keeps it like 80%, those two. Even I don't know how they do that. There must be enough featuring so-and-sos that they can keep it going. Yeah. But like it stays almost those two all the time. And it'll throw in like CC Winans, or it'll throw in Hillsong United, or it'll throw in somebody kind of similar.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like, so it throws in something else, but not so often. So it's still feasible for you to go, and kick it out.
Yeah.
And whip Pandora back into shape.
That's right.
Cool. All right. Next one. This one I find very interesting. Sign art.
What
Is that still a thing? Sign art. Like a live, laugh, love something painted on the side of reclaimed wood. Or it's fall time right now. So do either one of you have like thankful painted in script on a sign hanging on your front door right now?
Kill it with fire.
You know, or excuse the mess, we're making memories kind of stuff. Are we still into that?
No, kill it with fire. Burn those things off your walls, or your whole walls if they're stickied on. Just burn the walls down with this.
Doing that strong. About all of them, or
yeah.
Like even just like I've got one hanging up in the bathroom right now, that just says pumpkin patch, as if our bathroom is a fake pumpkin patch.
Cute little pumpkin patch.
Pumpkin patch. So
It's fine. They're fine.
I tell my family I'm going to go fertilize the pumpkin patch now.
See,
Mark did a song making fun of Live, Laugh, Love on
Yeah.
Sunday. That's pretty funny.
Did he?
He totally did. That's the odds of that are when you
I mean-
say, are we still into that?
You can go ahead and throw your wives under the bus if you want to.
Listen, Hobby
I
Lobby
pointed out
has
the
that.
fact that I hung up a pumpkin patch sign.
Hobby Lobby has that 40% off, and every once in a while you see a cute little thing written on a cute little board, and it's like, oh, that's a, to the moon and back is something we say, or whatever, right? Like,
Okay.
but for me personally, if I'm picking it out, it has to be, I don't know, it has to be really perfect or really like, there's just too many of them. And so I've become pickier with them. Also, it's very easy for me to make them. So like if Sherry sees one she likes, I'm like, just take a picture of it and I'll knock it out. Like I can do the same thing. And then you have the benefit of knowing that I created it. But it's not high art, I'll put it that way. But we do have a lot of them in our home.
I don't think anybody has ever mistook it for high art. But you're saying in your home it's still a thing.
Still a thing.
Look, I appreciate the pumpkin patch because there's a joke that goes along with it. All right. The rest of them have gone out with the McCafe color palette that we all used painting our houses the last 20 years. I just no, they need to go. What's timeless though is like somebody's last name written in cursive on a board, like established whenever they bought their house or whatever. That's fine. Those are fine. But the Live, Laugh, Love and the giant thankful paint, sticker on the wall. And
see, we've got some that are references to geek culture. So there's like a Christmas one that's a quote out of The Grinch, which is Sherry and Case's favorite Christmas movie. So like some of them are like I love you, I know, right? Like that's a subtle Star Wars thing, kind of making fun of wall art, but it is still wall art.
That's the difference.
Well, yeah. But I mean, everyone has a reason for having wall art.
I think
you can make anything sentimental if you want to.
I guess
that's a choice.
I guess the next layer is the wall art and the words have to be slightly more sarcastic or jaded to be cool.
But then you get into like annoying t-shirt territory.
Yeah.
People have like the sassy t-shirts and they're just obnoxious t-shirts because they got one sassy thinking it was funny.
Yeah.
True.
At some point you cross that line with the wall art.
So right now it's a really pretty cursive. It's wine o'clock somewhere. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
That's by the bookshelf in the film.
Oh boy.
I saw a shirt at the airport that said beer is cheaper than gas, drink, don't drive.
Yeah. So that would be in the man cave on a sign.
Or on a tin.
Maybe that should be the litmus test. But I feel like if you put that on a t-shirt, it has become an obnoxious t-shirt. So what's the difference between the sign and the t-shirt?
Good point.
Yeah.
Is it funny? If it's funny, it's fine.
No, but I feel like that one,
it's
if people
in
are saying,
presentation.
yeah. Does the presentation make a difference?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about it would have to a degree, because like if it's in my home and I only invite an audience that I would want in my home, they're probably the type of people that would enjoy it anyways. Where if you wear that to a wedding, tucked into your jeans and boots, and you're walking around in a drink, don't drive shirt, that's probably not the audience, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. I think audience matters. Sure. If you wear that to a football game, a college football game, people are going to think it's funny.
Will they though?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wear it to your AA meeting, maybe not.
See, that's where I would appreciate it more. I could speculate for some reason. Like this is one that I could speculate on all day. Here's another one. We'll do maybe only a couple more. I have a bunch here, but most of them suck, to be honest. I don't know if either one of you have ever been into this scene, but I'm still kind of curious if you think it's still a thing or not, and that is craft beer. Neither one of you, I think, has ever been into the craft beer thing.
Not into it. I think it's still kind of a thing, though.
No, it's if we are. Though.
It's a what?
It's if we are. It's what we think about
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Not into it.
Not into it.
I'm not either. I was kind of hoping one of you were at some point in time, because it's one of those things where I feel like craft beer has gotten a lot less popular.
Do you think that, pun intended, it's been a bit watered down? Like there's a brewery every 6 blocks now that's a restaurant and a brewery, and I think that was the difference. Like
maybe
it used to be that you would, like, if you were lucky traveling, you'd stumble across a brewery that had good food and you'd have a really unique experience. And now, like where I live, there's 6 breweries in 5 miles.
Yeah.
And so
that's a good point.
I have a related one for the listener. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wine and painting places.
Yeah.
Steabai.
Also relatively new fad, I think.
Yeah.
Those were super. There was one on every corner like 8-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I think they sort of fell. And then they're like, oh, let's do beer and pottery. Like they just mixed a hobby with a drink.
Right.
We got invited.
I feel like it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before like I'm putting like axe throwing on this list. Right.
Right.
And things like that.
So
There's
true.
something new that I've seen. Like it is miniature bowling or something.
Yeah. Like Pins Mechanical.
Is that new?
Last couple of years. Yeah.
Last couple of years. Okay. My wife and I were looking for something to do around Easton one day, and like we came across that. We almost did it because we were curious enough. We duck bowling, is that what it's called? I don't know.
Yeah.
But we didn't do it. But I was intrigued by it, and I kind of wondered: is this like axe throwing? Is this like a thing that like people are kind of doing?
Yeah, I think axe throwing is still going down.
It still is. I think we lost Dillon.
Yeah, that's
temporarily. And let's see. Let's find one more here. I do want to say with beer, all of the beers are IPAs. That's what people are way into these days. And for me, it was like, it used to be Sierra Nevada was the only IPA that you could buy anywhere around here. And if a bar was going to have an IPA, it was definitely Sierra Nevada. And I liked Sierra Nevada. And then now when you look at a bar list, it's like all IPAs. And then they have Guinness and Bud Light. And then 15 IPAs. And that really annoys me for some reason. And I don't know. I've never been on the craft beer bandwagon. If I do want an IPA, I still get Sierra Nevada. But man,
you'll show them.
I'll show them. I also heard that the reason for that is that IPAs are a lot easier to make than lagers and or pilsners even, and so that could be the driving force behind why IPAs got really popular, because you had all these hipsters brewing their own beer and the only one that they could do well was IPA. And so they started to push that on the market, and then they all started drinking each other's IPAs. And the next thing you know, you have this craze of everybody who thinks that IPAs are super awesome, and it turns into a thing. So, hey, that's me gatekeeping the beer industry. The last one that I'm going to bring up, let's do bacon. Bacon everything. There has been recently, it's been one of those things where bacon has belonged on absolutely everything and it makes everything better. Is that still holding true? Do we go crazy for the bacon? If you can get a fillet or a bacon wrapped fillet, are you going nuts because they have a bacon wrapped fillet?
I feel like the last handful of things that we've talked about, I've seen like and who am I to know, but like my finger on the pulse of the last 3 or 4 things you've brought up, axe throwing, IPAs, bacon, everything. I think all of those are just slightly trending down.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they're on the list. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like, are these things over?
Yeah, that's
Or is
interesting.
this something you still, or is it something that is over, but you don't want it to be over because you're still
I mean,
still
bacon
into
is
it?
great. There was a Christmas where Dylan and I's mom got Dylan everything bacon flavored. There was like bacon jam. There was bacon. He'll be able to, when he comes back on, he'll be able to say what it was. But like she got a bacon pop. Like there was bacon every.
Wow.
Um, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm curious what others think as well. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think I'm kind of there. Bacon is still, it's my second favorite of breakfast meats. Ham being my favorite. And it's always held that for me. There's even on sandwiches sometimes, like I'd rather have if you I'm such a low class foodie that I have, depending on the sandwich, on the breakfast sandwich, I might prefer a different type of meat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So on a biscuit, sausage is what I want on a biscuit. Um and bacon is what I want on like the croissant sandwich from
Yeah,
Burger King.
yeah,
But then virtually everything else, if ham is an option, that's what I'd rather have.
yeah.
So bacon has never been sort of in that number one slot for me, but I still like it a lot. And if I were to order like a normal American breakfast at a diner and they don't have ham because a lot of them don't, bacon is my next choice.
Right.
I like bacon on a burger. I enjoy bacon wrapped chicken dishes, but I don't feel like we need to be sprinkling bacon on top of really anything else. Um, I've been going through experiments with prepared sauerkraut this football season every Saturday. And traditionally, I have put bacon in sauerkraut, and I didn't this year. And I think it's better without the bacon.
Yeah.
So,
You
Dylan,
know
we're
what
talking about bacon.
Yeah, bacon everything, bacon wrapped everything, bacon on everything, bacon flavored everything. Do you feel like that's steadily on the decline too?
Yeah, yeah, I think that trend is pretty much past. Not the popularity of bacon in and of itself, but the bacon flavored everything. And the like bacon on my pair of MeUndies or bacon on a scarf or a hat, like even the sort of merch aspect has disappeared. So, yeah, I think everyone still loves bacon just as much as they always have, but that's kind of where it ends. We don't
Remember that Christmas where mom got you like 7 bacon flavored or bacon themed things?
Yeah.
What were some of those things? Because some of them were like gimmicky things you'd find at Buc-ee's. By the way, Mark Rebillet had a Buc-ee's sticker on his MacBook Pro when he was
full circle. Speaking of Loop Daddy, it all
There it
came
is.
full circle with Buc-ee's. I remember bacon flavored ketchup being the most, the one that stuck out to me the most. But yeah, I think a lot of that's just gone to the wayside. You can and I think I was pegged with being the bacon lover. We had at our wedding, one of our hors d'oeuvres was candied bacon. So people were like, oh, he must love bacon. Well, it's like, well, yeah, who doesn't like bacon? It was delicious. But like, I don't need all the merch.
Yeah, I don't need bacon ice cream. We don't need to do that.
Right.
What do you guys think kicks those things off? Like I'm naive enough, and it's fun for me to believe that a character like Ron Swanson on Parks and Recreation is enough to set the internet ablaze with like a trend like let's make bacon jokes and have bacon everything for a while. Like what a food that we've had for a very long time. What makes it in vogue for a handful of years? Who axe throwing? Like I think hipsters are to blame for a lot of this.
No, but how do the hipsters get onto it?
Right.
Like, where does it start? Who's hipster zero?
Who's hipster zero?
In these situations? Is it Mumford? Like who is it?
I learned, by the way, we talked about barbecue Becky since we're on the topic of meats and what starts things. Apparently, you guys, I did a deep dive on this. Barbecue Becky is supposedly the very first Karen.
Really?
Like this, she kicked off the Karen movement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can be debated, but I went to Know Your Meme and did a few other researchy things. And apparently she's given credit to being the first Karen,
The
even though
first
she's a
Karen.
Becky.
Well,
Where did we get the name Karen from then? Is it just something that just kind of fits? Someone's like, yeah, I
hate
think
to
of
say
Karen
it,
when I think of that kind of people.
but frankly, no Karens probably listen to this show. So I think that's
Yeah,
I think it's
it might have been like she started the movement, it got the name later, like
Yeah.
the angry white woman.
Right.
yeah.
Anyway, that's a fun game, Kendall, and I hope that you come up with a few more and that this can be a recurring segment.
I have more, but like I said, most of them suck. So you guys got the good ones. As I think of them, I'll do them. And if anybody else has any thoughts or ideas on these, I'll add them to the list.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to shower after a very long day. I know that's TMI, but I can tell you one of the products I'm going to use when I get out, and that's Artius Man. So be sure to go to artiusman.com, fill your cart with amazing men's grooming products specifically for beards. I also got myself, Kendall, you'll be interested. My beard's long enough now that I've been wanting to try one of those hot brushes, like the flat iron thing. I didn't today, but I've been using that a couple of times. I'll let you
Interesting.
know how I like that. I reached out to Jeff of Artius Man and said, hey man, is there anything to those things? And he's like, yeah, I got one. I use it when my beard's long. So anyway, artiusman.com for amazing, all natural, locally made beard grooming products, soy blend, woodwick candles. They've got hats and other gear, wooden combs and all kind of cool stuff if you're a hipster. Like us. All right, guys, I'm going to bed. Thanks for jumping on. This has been fun. Hope you enjoyed this little convo, and we will see you all next Wednesday morning.
Toodles. Cheerio.